What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Welcome back to What's Happening Now. Our look at the underground happenings. Got a few things that have been announced, and we got one that I want to start off with. It's really kind of old. It actually kind of came out before the last episode of What's Happening Now. I don't fully remember touching on it in that episode. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But as you can tell from the title of this video, Big Hoodoo is back. Big Hoodoo had been, don't even remember the name of the interview that he was spotted on. In the interview, he talked a little bit about, ICP, Psychopathic Records. I have not watched that interview. Not at all. From that, I just kind of took, okay, he's still in the scene. He's still doing his thing kind of in the background. I know there was like rumors and speculations about him that I didn't pay any attention to, and I'm not going to talk about here. But kind of bouncing off the heels of that, Big Hoodoo had posted back on December 17th, I think like 2 days after the last episode of What's Happening Now, I'm hearing some fake family doubt on my name. Laughing emoji with a finger pointing. This is just a small peek from our real famo out there. Spread this. Hashtag pass the Hoodoo blessing is eternal. Now, again, I'm not going to touch on any of the dramatical sides of this. What I want to focus on is this album artwork that he'd put out there. I had seen a few people kind of talking about it. Big Hoodoo's The Black Book 3. Now, for those who don't know, there was a few people I had seen that didn't make this connection right away and then immediately made it after it was brought to their attention. This is an homage to the Carter 3 album from Lil Wayne. So for me, I find it really hard to tell if this is like a legit album post or not. The 3 for me, though, if you guys don't remember, I feel like I talked about this in my review for the Red Book. Maybe I talked about it there. I think I might have talked about it in an old episode or an old video, something like that. But when Big Hoodoo put out the Red Book back in 2020, or was that 2021? God damn, it's been a hot minute since Big Hoodoo had made an album. There was an interview he did with Faygo Lovers where he talked about how that was part 1, and it even says on there that it's part 1, that the other 2 parts were going to be labeled the White Book and the Black Book, essentially playing off of his face paint colors. So the fact that he posted this album artwork labeled, entitled The Black Book, seems like that's definitely the case of him continuing this. And that's what made me think that this is like a legit album teasing. I haven't seen any other details about this come out since. But for me, it got me really excited. I'm somebody who's enjoyed Big Hoodoo. I think the Red Book is a great album. I think Asylum is a great album. Crystal Skull is obviously a great album. So Big Hoodoo is somebody that I was really kind of sad when he went away. I mean, I don't want to say he like went away, but it seemed like he was seeing less. We were seeing less of him at the gathering. We were seeing less of him on on tours and things like that. So that he was definitely an artist that, as he kind of faded into the background a little bit, he was definitely one that I was like, oh, damn, I really liked Hoodoo. So I'm glad to see that he's still here. He's still carrying on as Big Hoodoo, because I think at one point there was kind of this question, is he going to go back to rapping as Doe Dubla? So seeing that he's carrying on as Big Hoodoo, and he's continuing on with the series that he had said he was going to do with the Black Book, and the part that really has me kind of fucked up is this just a tease of part 3 and we're still going to get 2 and the 2 is going to be the White Book? Or is he going to jump straight ahead to the Black Book and then do the White Book? That's the part for me that's like really confusing. And again, that's what makes it really hard to know like how serious this post was. So, yeah, the post from Big Hoodoo to me is like confirming that it's definitely happening. But I don't know how to take the album artwork. If that's the actual album artwork and it's going to be the 3rd and we're going to get the White Book first, cool. Absolutely love it. Super fucking dope. I love the homage that he is paying to Lil Wayne's The Carter 3 album. I don't mind that one bit at all. But it has me excited and I'm super stoked, and I really hope that we don't wait. I hope we don't have to wait too terribly long to hear more from Big Hoodoo. I'd love to see him back at the gathering. I'd love to see him back doing shows. At some capacity with ICP, and if not with ICP and not with Psychopathic Records, then I wholeheartedly think that the perfect place for Big Hoodoo is with Light's label Monstar Entertainment. Light just dropped a new album back in November called Full Force. You know, they did the Monstar Click last year. Straight Jacket, I believe, has an album in the tuck. I believe Project Born is working on an album before Frank Nitti, like, retires. So Monstar Entertainment is doing some things, and I feel like that would be a really good place for Big Hoodoo to house himself if he doesn't end up going back full capacity with Psychopathic Records. Obviously, Psychopathic Records is, like, not a thing anymore. They're just doing ICP and focusing on ICP. Obviously, with Ouija Mac still putting on his, you know, Hatchet Man stamp like they wanted Twiztid to do when they first left Psychopathic. So I'm curious what the future for Big Hoodoo looks like. And again, I think Monstar Entertainment would be a perfect place. I do think, unfortunately, that would burn some bridges for him. But I'm of the mentality at this point in time where I would rather see people go work with who they want to work with than, like, cuff themselves because of who they're associated with. That to me is absolutely just terrible for artists to have to go through. So regardless, focusing on the positive shit, I'm excited to see that Big Hoodoo is still around. I'm excited to see that he's got some things in the work. And again, really hopeful that this means we're getting an album soon, like real soon, hopefully. So moving on to the next item on this, I kind of want to leave the other title to this video more or less for last, if we will. So I'm just going to kind of move on next over to Astronomicon 8. Dates have been announced. It is going down April 4th to April 6th of 2025 at the Ann Arbor Marriott Ypsilanti at the Eagle Crest. Ypsilanti, Michigan. Where the fuck is that? That's got to be like a Detroit suburb, right? Is the Y silent or is the P silent? Ypsilanti. I feel like the P's got to be silent on that one. But going down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, for those who want to attend, the only thing that they've really announced about it, outside of, like, the norm of, like, everyone from M&E, is Sting has been announced to be, like, one of the guests there. I'm still 100%, like, up in the air about Astro. Like, Comic-Cons are not my thing. Pop-Cons are not... Conventions of that, like, caliber, I don't even know how you would say that. Like, those kind of events just really never intrigued me. Like, going and meeting famous people has just never been like, I want to go meet a famous person and I want to get an autograph from them. That's just never really been my thing. So, like, when it comes to Astro, it's going to take something super significant as far as the concert goes, or something super significant about the event itself. Like, the DCG Con, absolutely loved it because it was themed completely around board games. You play games, there was tournaments going on, there was seminars about the games and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know there are seminars at Astro, but as far as me wanting to go to the actual convention itself, I'm still waiting for that really juicy thing that makes me go, I'm going to Astro. And that just hasn't happened yet, but, you know, the dates have been announced, and that is when it's going down in April. So, you know, that's good. I think it's always kind of been in March, April, which I think makes it easier to really plan for some of the other events. And just continuing right on to that little topic, Tom Wood just announced the float going down June 19th to the 22nd. And this one really surprised me. And I remember I had talked about it in a previous episode of What's Happening Now. And somebody actually commented that something about Tom Wood saying that he might move the float to earlier in the year this year, or this next year, I should say. And when they said it, it made sense because, I mean, the gathering has been announced now and it's going down in like late August. And the float has always been on Labor Day weekend. So with the gathering going down in late August and the float being like essentially like not even a week or two after that, I can see why Tom would want to move his to earlier in the year. And I'm absolutely okay with it. And honestly, I doubt Tom was watching, but I think one thing that would be really cool for the float is to kind of rotate it. Maybe one year he has it in May around Memorial Day, and then, you know, switch it to Labor Day. I think that those are really good weekends to keep the float around. And I mean, June 19th is, I'm pretty sure that's closer to Father's Day, which, hey, okay, that's still kind of cool. You know, there's a lot of people out there who probably don't celebrate Father's Day like that. So, but I do think Memorial Day and Labor Day, I think those 2 weekends actually make a lot of sense for what the float is. It's basically, from my understanding, I've never been. Megs and I want to go one of these years. My vibe is like this really big, like, barbecue kind of get together where everybody goes and floats on the river. And that's the part that really has me intrigued. I think for Megs, what really has her intrigued is like the fact that they do have Into the Echo Side tournaments there and gaming convention things at the float. And so the float is definitely an event that we would like to scratch off of our list. The fact that it's in June, I don't know how much that's going to affect us going. I know Megs has expressed interest in the float over Camp Zool because we've been to Camp Zool. But for me, I'm super on the fence, and kind of like with the gathering, I want to kind of see who all's going to be at Camp Zool and who all's going to be at the float before I fully lean one way or the other. And ultimately, just really depending on when Camp Zool is. Because I think we could probably swing both. Maybe. I don't know. If it's in early June like I want it to be, that's going to be really tough then to turn around and 2 weeks later go to the float. Financially to swing that. So I'm curious what next year is going to be like. But I can tell you, for me, the two events that I'm definitely leaning for are Camp Zool and the float. As far as the big events that I want to go to, I think Hallowicked is definitely an option for Megs and I next year as well. So the fact that the float is going to be in June just made our chances of going to Hallowicked and the float good. That way we don't really have to choose, because there's enough of a buffer between the two for us to do one, you know, save up, do the next. So Tom Woods, the float, going down June 19th to the 22nd. Tickets go on sale on January 23rd, 2 days before my birthday. So hopefully when the tickets go on sale, there's a lot of information as far as artists go. What I have here in front of me, it doesn't say it here, but I know on Facebook he had posted that something about new artists. So it sounds like, as far as the lineup goes, he may be booking some really, he may have a really like new-ish lineup maybe planned. That's kind of what my takeaway was from that little promo. So, and then moving on to the next one, I really want to plug this. I just talked about it in my top albums of 2024. And while I was filming that video and hyping up Grewsum, in that video, I was saying that if you did not listen to Grewsum's Locker, and if Grewsum ever does an exclusive release again, that you must not sleep on it. As I was filming that video, Grewsum posted that he had a brand new album, physical only release. And I feel like I had something that I was going to post on here. No, I had something I was going to pull up so I could read it. He had posted, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. And he's got a brand new album out now called Relic. It's only available physically. You cannot get this on streaming. You will not be able to, it won't be on streaming. That's the whole point of what I was going to say. As far as this one goes, I don't know if it's only going to be available for a limited time. So if I was you, if you're not familiar with Grewsum, I know he just barely put out a new track called Relic. It's the first track on the album, so maybe I'll play you a little clip of it now.
Go back to when it was dope rap and not just lames who keep paying for plays so they can say that it's so. That's the way that it goes. I guess I'm nostalgia. I guess I'm a relic to back when rappers went out there and tore the microphone to shreds and gave you the soul.
That shit, you know, don't sleep on it. If you like what you heard there, if you're not familiar with Grewsum, go listen to some of his most recent albums. The Dark Flow Solution is a really good one that dropped last year. He's got one with Jimmy Don called The Nameless 2 that has some pretty good tracks on there as well. The fucking Grassroots 6 is really great. Evil is really great. Spazin is a really, like, if you're new to Grewsum, Spazin is a great album to go check out from him to just get familiar with him and his sound. So Relic, available right now. I don't know for how long it will be. So if you are a fan of Grewsum and you're not sure if you're going to get it and you skipped, on Grewsum's Locker, I will tell you this. You don't want to skip on this, especially if you're a fan of Grewsum. Do what you got to do to get this, because it's going to be a banger. I'm calling it right fucking now. And I'm pretty sure with this coming out, I want to kind of roll it over to 2025, I think, because I feel like Relic may just make it into our top albums of 2025. I'm just calling that right now. So I will put a link in the description, and obviously I have this graphic here with this very nifty QR code for you to scan so that you can head over to the website and pick up a physical copy of this CD, because this is the only way you are going to hear this album. So moving on to the main topic, and the reason why I am titling this, Where's the Axe Pre-Order? In the previous episode of What's Happening Now, I did talk about the My Bloody Valentine event that they're doing in February, and how it's more or less going to be like a release party for Welcome to Your Funeral, which is Twiztid's sister. That's what I call Twiztid when they do their rock shit. I've gotten a few giggles out of people. If I'm pissing people off, I apologize, but that's just what I call them because it's funny to me. I think it's funny. But anyway, the pre-orders for Welcome to Your Funeral went live. I don't even remember what day that they went live, but they've got a whole slew of pre-order bundles available here. I'll go over them real quick, and then I'll kind of take it over to the little side topic that I threw into the title for this. They have just the CD, they have the vinyl, they have a CD with a shirt, a CD with a hat. They have, what is this? It's the CD, vinyl, and cassette. And it looks like a 7-inch vinyl as well. Bundle that you can get. They got a CD and a skate deck. I feel like maybe Ecoside Fiend's going to grab that. And if he does, I definitely am looking forward to that unboxing. Shout out to the homie Ecoside Fiend. They also have a CD, vinyl, and a poster that's like a mirror. And I don't want to put this energy out there because I feel like there's a lot of fucking bullshit haters that do this. But like, when I saw this poster, I was like, oh, they tried to pull off the Wraith thing. And for anyone that doesn't know this, when the Wraith Shangri-La was going to come out, originally, his face wasn't supposed to be black. It was supposed to be like this foil. So it would reflect your face. You would see your face in the face of the Wraith. But during, like, I think the mock-ups of it, it didn't give the effect that they were looking for. So they scrapped it and just made it black. Well, Twiztid's doing it now with this poster, so that's kind of cool. We'll see how that turns out. And then you can also get a CD with a, like, Letterman jacket. So they got some pretty sweet bundles, and I'm not going to lie, this album artwork I really kind of like a lot. People were making some connections. I think it's the Mindless Self-Indulgence that has, like, a similar cover to this. I'm pretty sure that was the name of the band. I'm not a huge, like... I like rock music, but I don't like deep dive into a lot. I've got my set like artists that I like when it comes to rock music. And I don't really listen to rock radio at all, which is probably why Unlikely Prescription took me like 5, 6, 7 listens before I really enjoyed it. And even now, while I like Unlikely Prescription, it's not very often that I listen to it because I'm not in the mood for rock. And if I am in the mood for rock, it's only going to be certain songs or certain albums that I'm going to be in the mood for. So, you know, I'm going into this new album very open-minded with the fact that Unlikely Prescription took a few listens. So I'm not just going to immediately listen to it and be like, this sucks. I've not listened to any of the singles other than the snippets that I've heard from when Instagram just automatically plays them. So I'm going to go into the album completely open-minded. But bringing it on to the main topic, where's the Ala Zulilu pre-order? It's been getting teased for Gods of Evil Rise is coming out. For me, it's like, I want this out. I want Gods of Evil Rise as a birthday present. Like I just said, my birthday is January 25th. And I was like, there's that part of me deep down inside that was like, oh, maybe they'll put out pre-order soon for Gods of Evil Rise. And especially after they announced Welcome to Your Funeral and then put the pre-order bundles out for it, I was like, oh, any minute now, they're going to put out the pre-order for Gods of Evil Rise, and it'll be right around my birthday. And I have my own little reasons of why I think that, and that's because at the beginning of the year, they put out Chainsmoker 2, and then like a few weeks later, it was the Young Wicked Mixtape 2, and then a few weeks later, it was a Gmo Ski album. I'm pretty sure it was Filth City, I think that was the name of it. I don't really know. I don't really remember. But that had me thinking, like, okay, the second part of Jamie's mixtape is coming out in January, and then 2 weeks later we're getting Welcome to Your Funeral. So maybe in the like middle to beginning part of January, they'll give us Gods of Evil Rise. And I'd seen a lot of people thinking that it was probably going to be March before it comes out. And sadly now that's kind of what I'm thinking too, because it's Saturday, the 28th of January. We have no pre-orders for Gods of Evil Rise. And I'm starting to get impatient. This album has been done for some time. It's been ready for some time. And I know plenty of fans that are ready for it and have been wanting it. And I have way more interest, and I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say this. I have way more interest in hearing that album than Welcome to Your Funeral. So the pre-order bundle for Welcome to Your Funeral coming out, while the artwork I think is sweet, while I think a lot of the merch is pretty fucking sweet, and I'm going to be open-minded to the album when it comes out, I would much rather hear that later and get Gods of Evil Rise, because that album to me is just going to be something that I think a lot of people have been craving for a while. It's produced entirely by Mikey Clark, and if you have not listened to Till We Meet, which is the first official single from the album with a video and all, listen to that motherfucking beat, man. That straight up gives me Dead Body Man vibes. The whole theme of the song, them rapping on the song, it just reminds me of some old school ICP shit. And I just feel like this album's going to be fucking amazing. And I know I'm ready. I know a lot of other people are ready for it too. Twiztid, quit stalling it. Give us Gods of Evil Rise. I'm ready for it. A lot of people are ready for it. And I'm sure I'm kind of putting all the blame on Twiztid just because, but I'm sure there's other reasons behind it. Like maybe they're trying to pick out like what bundles they want to have, and they're still kind of work out those fine details before they roll it out. But you know, and I'm pretty sure that this album is going to be like the send off album for Zool, and then after that their contract's up and they're no longer going to be part of M&E. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to drag this along as they can. Not intentionally or anything like that. And I'm not trying to say like they're being petty or just to be negative about the whole thing. It's just I know that this album's been ready for a while, and I'm ready to hear it. So many people are ready to hear it. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think a lot of us are just tired of like this apparent stall for the album. Like, give it to us already. We want it. Yeah, that's all I've got for this episode of What's Happening Now. Tell me down below, what are you guys most excited for? What do you guys think about what's happening now? I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching.